Hello, welcome back to Straight Talk Gomi. Today is a topic that I'm going to discuss is a little touchy and it might step on some people's toes, but it's not meant to do that. It's meant to open our eyes to what's going on in the church and how our young people are feeling today, and maybe some adults are feeling the same way. Church is not a courthouse. Church is supposed to be a place of going there, feeling safe, and being able to be who you are, and also to be able to make a change in your life. Many a times we go to church and, we think the pastor is God, or we rely on this pastor to give us guidance. Yes, the pastor should give us guidance, and we look up to this person because that's the person of the cloth. They godly, they're holy. This is what we say to ourselves most of the time, and and forgetting that this person is also a human being just like us. And we go and we don't think this person could ever make mistakes because they shouldn't. You say, oh no, they shouldn't make no mistakes because they're a man of God, and they how dare this person do this and how dare this person do that. You go into church, you watch the elders in there. They walk around and they seem like they have everything together and like nothing is wrong. But they also are human beings just like us. And the other day, the reason why I'm talking about this topic, that church is not a courthouse. It's not a courthouse. Church is a place of healing, finding who you are, getting closer to God. And it shouldn't be a place where people want to run from. It should be a place where people want to go to. Just like if you hear somebody talk about they want to go to a party, they hear a party, oh, there's a party going on, and that person's so excited to go. Church should be the same thing. Not being scared to go because you scared somebody is going to judge you for who you are. The pastor is not the judge. The congregation, the elders are not the jurors. We are not. They are not. We go there, we all go in there as human beings, as people that want to know something about God, getting that personal relationship with God. But just one word from somebody can make a person turn away from church. And I'm talking about this topic because we had a young person that came to me one day and was talking to me, and I was saying, well, let me get myself ready for church and stuff like that. And they was like, church? I ain't going to church. I said, why you not going to church? No, because them people in there are hypocrites. I hear them talking about each other, or they, young people come in there and they say, look at that young person, and that person's son out there doing this and that, out there partying and so on and so on. So I had to turn around and I had to stop and look at the person. I was like, what? And I had to say to them, not all churches are like that. And not all people are like that. You're not going to church for the pastor. And you're not going to church for the people in the church. It's nice that when you go to church, you can commune together and fellowship together and be happy with one another. But sometimes you just got to go there to get the word. And that word might have an impact on you, or it might be something that you could pass on to someone else to help someone else. And I had to let them know we are all human beings and we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. Not even the pastor is perfect. They're human beings and they make mistakes. Hey, everybody in their lifetime make a mistake. Not everybody. Don't assume that when you see people walking in the church that they never had a problem. If people never have a problem, I don't think half of the people will be in the church. But you go to church to get that joy and to build your faith and to commune with one another, to feed off of one another. One of the things that bothers me so much, and I'm going to talk about it today, is that when our young people make mistakes, we were all children before. Every last one of us was a child. We did not born big. We did not born with all this knowledge that we have now. The knowledge that we have now is because it was taught. Something was taught to us to make us to be the person that we are today. It's trial and error. We make mistakes, we learn from it, and then we move on. And that makes us a better person. We touch it's just like a child. You say, don't touch that stove. And the child just look at you, and when you turn your back, what that child does, go touch that stove. And when they pull back because their finger got burned, and they go, oh, so this is what happens when I touch that stove. Do you think that child gonna go back to that stove? No, they're not. Because they learned their lesson because it was hot. And it hurt. So as we are becoming adults, from childhood to adult, it's a trial and error. We make mistakes, but we're going to learn from it. And also, we watch people. People are our role models. People are the people we tend to watch and act like them. That's like our parents. We'll say, oh, our parents did certain things when we were children, trying to tell us not to do this, trying to tell us not to do that, and guiding us in the right direction. And we as children be like, I ain't doing that. That person mean, mommy mean, daddy mean. He don't know what he talking about. And then when you become an adult, you say, oh, this is what my father was telling me, or this is what my mother was telling me. And then you follow suit. You start to do what that person told you to do, or they demonstrate. You are the role model. So therefore, you show, and then the person will follow. Some will, some won't. Some of them have to go out. Some people have to go out there and get burned before they understand what you was talking about. So we go into the church. When we come into the church, not everybody comes into church with no problems. People come into church. You might meet a friend, and your friend say, you know, I'm going through a bad divorce, or my children giving me problems, or my job is giving me problems. And you will say, you know what, come to church with me. Fellowship with me and my in the congregation today. Have fun. Let's come and let's praise God and stuff. That person comes to church and they start singing and praising God. And then the next thing you know, they're like, oh boy, I want what those people have. I want to laugh like those people. I want that type of joy that these people are experiencing. Because you took them there. Right? But then when you get there and you enjoying this joy, but you know what? Church is to me, church is like a hospital. It's a healing place. It's just like when a doctor gives you medication, and the pastor preach to you, they give their sermon, and you listen to that sermon, and you're taking it in. You're taking it in, and you're trying to break the pieces apart to put them together so you'll know where that fit into your life, right? So the pastor's like the doctor. They talk to you and stuff like that. The doctor give you a prescription. You feel sick. The doctor give you a prescription, and you take this prescription, and you go get it full. Then you get the medicine and stuff like that. What happens when you don't follow the instructions? You either get sick or you die. Right? Okay. It's the same thing. Where the doctor is giving you, when the pastor is talking to you, that's like a prescription he's giving you. And you have to fill it. You have to fill that prescription. And then you have to absorb it, take it in. And then you figure out where you fit into into your spirit, into your soul, and how it works for you in your life. But what people do not need is a jury talking about, oh, you know, so-and-so there, she pregnant and don't have no husband. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. Church members shouldn't be doing that. What church members should be doing is being a role model, showing that person how to be a good mother or a good father. Not talking about you want to kick this person out the church and all these different things. That doesn't make any sense. How that person going to grow in faith? Let's not forget, there's a lot of things that if we didn't have in place here and where we in our society today, with different technology, different medicines, different things, we would know who is who. And we have to remember, we all have our own problems, our own issues, and we dealing with our own demons. And we are trying to fix our demons. That's why we go to church. We go to church, we praise God and asking God to change us. And eventually God will change us. In due time, God will change you. I remember one time when I went to church and I heard them talking and they were saying, well, we want you to do this and you mustn't do this and you mustn't do that. You can't wear chains and all these different things. And I'm looking at them like, you can't tell me that. And I was like, Eventually, guess what? I stopped wearing it. I might wear like today, I put on my earring because I felt like putting on my earring today. But is it me? Is that my life? No, it's not. Does it make me a bad person? No, it's not. It does not make me a bad person. I just felt like wearing it for today. So we have to remember that we cannot be judging people. We are in no position to judge no one. No one. We can't judge the pastor. The pastor can't judge us neither. And in the congregation, the elders, you are human. And I'm quite sure we all make mistakes. But if we want our young people to come to church, we got to be that role model. We got to stop judging people. Let them come into church. Yes, you give advice. And eventually that person will follow. But they're not going to follow you if you're talking about them. Because rumors get around. People talk. And would you like to go anywhere where you don't feel like you fit in? And that's why when you talk about children on the street, that's because people get them, and that's how the street get them. Because the people outside understands them. Well, at least they think the people outside understands them. But we have to open our hearts and start to understand people and understand what they are, that they're coming. It's like you plant a seed. And you plant the seed and you have to keep nurturing. You have to give it the water. You have to give it the sunlight in order for that seed to grow. So when you start to judge someone, look at that person as a seed that you're about to plant and you're about to nurture for it to grow and blossom. That's what we are supposed to do for one another. Not criticize, not judge, because we are not a courthouse. We are not a jury. We are just not that. We are God's people, and we are looking for that type of love, the faith, and to get that experience of knowing God. So we need to learn to do that. Before I close this part, Matthew chapter 7. And I'm going to read it from the Bible because I want to make sure that the words that I'm saying the right thing. I don't want to make no mistakes because this is very important. Matthew chapter 7, verse 1 to verse 5 says, "Judge not that you be not judged. For with that what judgment you judge, you will be judged. And with the measures you use, it will be measured back to you. And why do you look at the speck in your brother's eyes? The speck in your brother's eyes, but not consider the plank in your own eyes? Or how can you say to your brother, let me remove the speck from your eyes, and look, a plank is in your own eyes? Hypocrites, first remove the plank from your own eyes, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eyes." That's clear. That the Bible is telling that. Matthew chapter 7 is telling us. Before we start to judge and before we start to say things to people, because people have a heart and people's hearts get hurt, just like your heart will get hurt. We have to be careful of what we are saying to people and passing judgment on people about their situation. We need to help them. We need to plant that seed. We need to water it. We need to nurture it for it to blossom and grow. And that's what we need. We don't need to have someone take you see a rose on the floor and you step on it, or you planting a seed but you never water it and don't give it sunlight. How do you expect it to grow? It cannot grow. It has to be nurtured, taken care of, and then you'll see the outcome, the product. And that's what God put us here, not to judge. And the Bible clearly tells us we should not judge our brothers unless our stuff is straight. And if our stuff is not straight and you got plank in your eye and then you want to go and judge someone else and you expect that person to listen to you, no, it doesn't work. Negative and negative, you're not getting anything from that. But if you stop and think about what you're going to say and how you're going to react to a situation, you get a better outcome. When you stop and you reason and stop judging, because we are not in the position to judge anyone when our stuff is not straight. And it hurts when you hear a young person or someone who went to a church, or a person who wants to go to church but refuse to go to church because of people like them, human beings like them, are criticizing or talking about their fellow mates. Who wants to be around that? Who wants to be judged like that? What you want is to be taught. And everybody is learning. When you go to church, you are learning. The pastor is there. The pastor is a teacher. The pastor is a human being. And we have to stop thinking that the pastor is God, because the pastor is not God. They are human beings. So when they make mistakes, the first thing you want to talk about, I don't want to go back to church. Oh, this person did such and such and such. How dare you? You cannot judge anyone, especially when we're sitting there and sometimes our stuff is not correct. So be mindful before you start to criticize someone. Stop and think before you judge. See you again. Thank you again for listening to me. And I see you again with another topic. And please leave your comments below. Like and subscribe. And I'll keep it coming. And I also want you to, if you have a topic that you want me to talk about, I give you my personal opinion. And I'll try to keep it straight and truthful. Straight to the point. Bye-bye.